both of you, is there, when you're making a bit of music, and you know you're trying to get what the listener thinks of the song or anything like that, parts of it, is there certain people that you go to for like feedback on that sort of stuff, where you sort of just do it in your own mind? Or
definitely. I literally send this bloke all my little beats, but what do you think of this? What do you think of this? I think it's the best way to do it, because everyone will give you different feedback. Someone will be like, this kick could be a bit more high pitched or something, you know. Yeah. Or like someone else will say, it's good, but you know, I feel like you could beef the drums up a bit more. Like just really like different feedback, I guess. But yeah, I always send stuff to my mates just because I'm like, sometimes I just make absolute weird shit. Yeah. Like you make 100 shit songs before you get to one good song.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just always sending out tunes and validating. Be like, does this work?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Yeah.
That's the worst thing about, I guess, sending things to your friends or your mates, bro, because they're not going to give you any feedback. They're just going to say, this is sick, dude. Yeah, good on you.
On the other hand,
this is going to be number one.
So that's why there's a little Facebook group that luckily Dibsy added me to, that one of the homies, old Joe, set up ages ago, and it's got people like Odd Mob and stuff, and a few local Brizzy DJs like Hexel, Fitch and stuff are in that. Couple of local heavyweights in this big group chat, man, and you know there's people in Perth, in Byron Bay and in Brizzy, and any person will just drop a song and say, excuse me, can you give me some feedback? And I can't tell you the amount of random people I've just seen their name pop up, and it's full on detailed constructive criticism, or if it's not that, it's give me 2 minutes, man. I'm either just going to head to my studio or I'm going to go pack up my room and put my headphones on and listen to this for you to give you feedback. And that's something you can't get from your mates because, like I said, they're just going to tell you it's sick and to keep going, man, which is not what you need all the time, particularly with DJing as well.
It's a different type of support network.
Exactly right, man. Yeah, there's support and then there's feedback, bro. And feedback's definitely different. Even like DJing, bro, feedback's pretty tough. Like, again, people are always going to say that's a sick set, bro, but it's like, well, what about my mixing at the 43-minute mark, man? What do you think? I thought that was pretty dodgy. What do you reckon? And I don't care. I don't know. I don't even remember it, you know? Yeah. So it is tough. But
is there a different criteria that, say, like local like nightclub owners or anything like that have for you, like a benchmark for you guys in terms of like, is it purely about the music? Is it about how many people you can get through the door? Is there certain things they look at and give you like feedback on as well?
Yeah, it definitely varies. Like, at Prohibition, you have times where you need to be commercial to get people in, and then other times, you know, you want to put the foot down as like a dance venue, making waves, you know, like playing underground stuff that people might not have heard before. Yeah. So there's always a variance, I guess.
And at the end of the day, bro, it just comes down to like our realm of control. Like we can only control the music, so they're just going to tell us what music to play, whether that's play a certain genre. In terms of Prohibition, and we're pretty fortunate, our boss Josh, he's actually like, he's been around for ages, and he's a legend, man. He's looked after us a lot, and he's sort of been going around. Traditionally, you rock up to a club or any sort of venue to work there, and they say play this sort of genre, play tech house, play groovy funk or whatever. But Josh has been into this sort of, I guess, idea of playing to more of a mood or a vibe, if you will, bro. You know, like let's keep it a happy night, you know, or let's get a bit dark. You could play anything fast, slow, whatever. Let's just keep that vibe going. And I think that's where, like, in terms of what does a club want from us? Yeah, they tell us this is the vibe that we want.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome. So you guys are doing a lot of work at Prohibition at the moment, haven't you? You guys have been there doing a lot of work there for some time now, haven't you?
Yeah, man. Well, I've been there since. Well, yeah. When did you join?
I started like 2 months ago, so I'm very fresh there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You've just come back from. Were you up north for the last couple of?
Yeah, I was in Rockhampton in 2020, which is sick because it dodged COVID. So while Brisbane clubs were shut, the old Giddy Goat up in Rocky was still going off.
Thriving. Did you play a couple of gigs there?
Yeah, I was pretty much a local there through the year.
Smashing the goat, bro.
Like, as a local resident, because when I moved to Rockhampton, I was like scrambling for somewhere to live. I was literally at Falls Festival, like this is New Year's, and I had to start the next week, and I had nowhere to live in Rocky. So then it was like,
that's a vibe.
Like a friend's school friend was in, I think, like Kingaroy Connection. She's from Kingaroy or something. So they were in Rockhampton, and her partner was a resident at the Giddy Goat. Yeah. So as soon as I moved in there, he's like, "You're playing in Brisbane venues. You're coming to the Goat."
Oh yeah.
And so I played up there for a while, which is it's wild up there.
Oh, it's mint.
Because you just got really like a mix of everything. Because there's only one stage, and you have this diverse crowd. So there's like people that want the old R&B, and then people that want cool housey stuff, and then people that just want like dub, like just
Well,
proper
it's that
filthy
strip
stuff.
on East Street, and it's just like, imagine like a really, for those who haven't, like, if you haven't been there before, it's like a really miniature valley. Just there's like a couple of clubs on that strip. The Giddy Goat's like absolute prominent one, like everyone's always there
on the corner.
And you can run into the same people each week, and then there's some people you'll run into and you haven't seen them in 3 years, and they'll pop in once a year. And it just goes, it goes absolutely off. Everyone's in that one strip. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'd love to get to the Goat, man. It'd be sick just to go back to CQ for a bit.
Yeah,
good.
So that was in 2020, and then back in 21 in Brisbane, but that was sort of more of like an adjustment. Still, COVID was around. It was a bit of a shit show.
Yeah.
And then I think Park put a good word in for me at Pro, and then before we know it, I got asked to play there this year. So
Yeah,
bro.
that's awesome.
Well, that was the thing. Old Dibs, like I was saying, our boss Josh, going through a bit of cycle of sort of people who are staying. There's some people are staying, some people are going, some people just weren't meant for the club anymore. So there was a bit of a shake up on what was going on, and he was asking, do you know someone who can play this sort of vibe? And I said, yeah, I know my mate Dibsy. And I said, do you know Dibsy? He said, well, I got a couple of his edits, I got a couple of his remixes. I said, well, bring him on, man. Like, why not? And I kept pushing him, and then I was hoping, I thought he was going to hit me up and said, I'm going to get your mate Dibsy on. Didn't even, bro. Dibsy just like, oh, hey, bro, hit me up. I'm going to be there next week. And I was like, oh, what the hell?
But yeah, I guess towards the end of last year, I was sort of hanging around the club a bit with Parker. So I guess I've seen my face there. I think that's really important too for anyone who wants to get into DJing at a club, is just like to be there and just like talk and just like literally just be around and be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Support it, man. If
Be a
you want
good
someone
person.
to pay you money to do something, hey, bro, you got to give them a little bit of cash, bro. You got to give them a bit of time and understand.
Exactly.
But yeah, for me, bro, I started working at Pro in 2019 when I won that DJ comp, bro.
That was a huge moment.
Oh, it's massive, man. That's one of the biggest moments of my life, bro, my career as it is, man. And it's built the foundation for what I am, and it's been the reason that I've done things like DJ at the races and stuff, DJ at a bunch of random clubs and stuff. It's deadly as, man, and I'm very fortunate. And the reason that I even, obviously, the work I put in, the hours I slaved away DJing in my room is part of it, but the main reason that in my opinion, that I actually even DJed there is because I had so many mates coming every week, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
I said, they only want to hire someone who's going to bring money in. And if you've got mates, they're money, bro. So every week, I was very thankful. Every week I had more than 5, if not 10 people at my set, up the front, absolutely loving it. So look,
Because how long did that competition go for? Because I remember, I think I was away in Rocky for the first one, and then I was seeing all the stories of it and stuff like that. And then it was on, I swear it was on for a couple more times. And then I obviously got to go to them, which is good. And your crowd just kept increasing each time.
Oh, exactly.
And then I honestly think some people were just very supportive in the college nature, and they just came along like, yeah, we'll support we'll support Lurke. And then I think some of them actually saw it, like myself, like when I first heard you play, and I was like, shit, this is not bad. And like everyone actually got really hooked, and because it went pretty big following straight
Oh,
away.
it was nuts, man. It was awesome, bro. But yeah, that was over about a 6-week period, bro, if not 2 months. There was a heat, and then there was 4 weeks of that, and then there was quarterfinals and semifinals and bloody grand finals, bro. And I was surprised I even made it through the first week, let alone all of them to take you at the top spot, which is pretty sick, man. I'm pretty stoked with that, man. That gave me a lot of content in my life, but also just makes you so much more hungrier, bro. Because when you do win the DJ competition against 100 other people for pretty much one of the largest and best clubs in Brisbane, if not Queensland, bro, that gives you a pretty big ego, and it definitely teaches you a lot, because there's a few people that'll bring you down a peg once you start arcing up.
Yeah.
Because you need a bit of reality check, but it's awesome. I'm very thankful for that, bro. It's sick.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. In terms of COVID, I actually want to touch on it. So you guys obviously university, architecture, finance and economics, and you have your music as well. But when COVID actually, hit, the music industry was really hardly hit.
Yeah.
It really affected a lot of, obviously, all the nightclubs, the music scene in general. And for actually quite a long time. Like, it wasn't just when it was the peak of the cases, it was actually for a long time after that because of all the regulations. So how did you boys find that period of COVID? What did you sort of do? And then just give us a bit of an insight into how it actually really impacted the industry.
Yeah, like I said before, I kind of dodged it a little bit when I moved up to Central Queensland because we had less restrictions than down in Brizzy. But before that, like, I was playing heaps of college events, and I was picking more and more up every year. So, these are all college events where you supply all your own equipment and you pretty much play the whole night. Like, it's a decent 5 hours, it's a good income.
Yeah.
if you're doing gigs and that. And when I first moved up there, I sort of started doing this thing where I'd have all my equipment, like hire it out to people like Parker, and he'd fill in those sets that I used to do every year. So like it might be ICC ball, which actually didn't happen, but for example, a college ball or something. Be like, oh hey Parker, you used to do this event. Do you want to play it this year? Gave him all my equipment. It was all down in Brisbane anyway. I was like, take this, go play. You get paid. I get paid for the equipment.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, good strategy.
And then the crowd gets decent DJs and not these like random blokes that, they've searched on Google or something because they're probably 50, 40-year-old blokes.
Honestly, man, those gigs that Dibsy gave me, it was a win-win for everyone, man. Like he said, he get a bit of cash, I get a bit of cash. And, dude, I met someone, like, I did an event at IH, bro, and, they had like an at-home, and it was just like a dodgy DJ setup on the lawn, bro. It was so cash, man. But literally that night, some of the blokes, like one of these bloke came out to me, he said, hey, man, how you going? And I was like, oh, good. He's like, that was awesome, bro. That was sick. I said, oh, thanks, dude. He's like, you want to come back to my room and have a sesh? I was like, all right, dude, but can you help me pack this shit into the car? He's like, yeah, right. So it was pretty funny. And from that, obviously it's a bit of fun, but he actually turned into one of my best mates in the world, bro. And he's a really good bloke. I'll shout out Elvin, man. He's a legend. And he's another bloke who introduced me to more sort of in the depths of house music and stuff like that. There's an event called Sash. He introduced me to that as well, which is pretty sick. But in terms of COVID, bro, for me, man, it was pretty dodge. Unless you got anything to add?
Nah, you keep going.
Thanks, man. Take a seat, no jokes. COVID, honestly, man, though, it was really good and really bad. For me, it was really good because I was so fortunate. A lot of people do have normal jobs. They got a 9 to 5, and the people who did have a 9 to 5 during COVID, they were more than willing to give up their sets for people who didn't have a job. Yeah. So that was only good for 2021, bro. In 2020, I was working at Telstra, so it was. I was getting a little bit of less sets, but in terms of how COVID affected the industry, well, no one could stand and dance. So you could essentially play whatever you want as long as it was sit-down music. So I get a lot of room for experimentation, man, and it let me play a lot of songs that I love and thought I would never get to play in my entire life. Just because people are sitting down, they got nowhere to go. You already got a drink, dude, where are you going to go, man? So that was probably but then obviously people get also sick. I'm surprised that anyone in their life would want to go to Prohibition and sit down and drink a beer, bro. Like I couldn't be bothered to do that in all honesty, man. And I think it's... but it's awesome, bro. It's awesome, man. But man, it was pretty dodgy, bro. Like, the only good thing was experimentation, but other than that, like, you get such a thrill from a crowd, man. And it wasn't honestly until this last weekend that came by. I was playing in the main room in Pro, and we've got a bit of a Pro group chat, and I just had this feeling in me, and I literally just had to post in this group chat. I said, "We're back," and I was like, it just felt like 2019 again, man. Like we are back, bro. So we're getting there.
Feel the moment.
Oh, it was unreal, man, and I can't wait for more of those to happen, bro. I just hope it doesn't come back around. Yeah,
in that when you are playing at like different amount of clubs and stuff like that. What was the sort of vibe on their half in terms of like, you'd rock up to play your set, people are sitting down stuff, and like, could you feel sort of what they were going through? Like, was there a bit of a change? Because obviously they were dealing with so much at the time.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, straight off the bat, bro, the first thing what we got told about is, oh, guys, we're going to have less hours and we're going to halve your rate. That was pretty much the big thing, dude. Like, I was working at $90 an hour and getting a couple shifts a month to working one shift or one or two shifts a month for $40, $50 an hour, and that slowly started to increase. But that was the biggest hit, because a lot of people depend on their income, and when it's not it was such a short thing before, man. People would shell out $190 to anyone who was willing to DJ, man. It was such a simpler time. But once COVID hit, man, they cut a lot of people off. A lot of money just went down the drain, and now the industry standard is, I'd say, about $70 an hour. Yep. But for what people, the amount of time that are like, I think it should be 90 again. I think it should be 90, obviously, bro. But
all the time.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's 50 in Rocky.
Shit.
Nah, that's right.
Well, the basics are quite up there, like $11 sometimes.
That's like an Emerald, man. Yeah. Go to the pub, crazy. It's like basics like $12, $13. Like, what are they doing?
Then again, by the time you get there, you don't care really what the price is at that point.
Nah, bro.
Until the next day when you sort of check it. Like, all right.
There was the time where they accidentally paid me double.
Oh, really?
And I didn't say anything.
Oh, wow. Did you get away with it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Because I think the live acts get paid double, but fucking so they should because they got double the talent.
Oh, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But I think he counted me as a live act and was like, counting the 50s out. I'm like, oh, this is more than I need. I was like, thank you.
You just have to mute that part of the podcast.
Yeah. Shit, I said too much already.
Was that your last gig there?
One of.
It will be.
In terms of this year, what's sort of the game plan for you guys in terms of music? Like, is there any events you're lining up for just to attend to, or then is there any ones that you're keen to play at? What's the game plan look like this year for both of you?
For me, it was just like getting out there more because, like, I was away from Brizzy for a bit, and I was probably also in a bit of a shell.
Yeah.
So now that COVID's sort of on the end, sort of just getting out there, making the most of it, and just like being around, meeting new people, like-minded people, and learning off other people really, and seeing what they have to offer.
Yeah, nice.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
probably the big one for me.
Yeah, mine's the same as well, bro. Just getting out there, meeting new people, because it's not about what you know, it's who you know. So, and again, just meeting people has gotten me a lot of jobs just this year, bro. And it's only been, it's February 24th, man. So I've already got a couple of new gigs from that. So definitely getting out there, meeting people, and just putting your best foot forward, bro. Every time I rock up to a gig, making sure I put the time in, put the effort in, because there was a time I was feeling a bit stagnant earlier in the year. Come back from COVID, and I got COVID earlier in the year, so I had 2 weeks off, and I was just a bit bummed. I had no money, pretty dodge health, and so when I came back, and also there was restrictions when I came back, and so I was sort of thinking, like, is it me? Do I suck? And so that literally led me into this little mini spiral of going through all my music and literally pretty much downloading about 150 songs over 2 days. And it was like, I just went hard at it, bro. I was like, dude, and since then I like evolved my whole playlist, bro. So yeah, it's definitely about keeping on the ball, bro, meeting new people. Oh, and I want to start releasing music, bro. At the end of the day, I want to get some tunes out there because I think, I know I got it in my heart that I can make some deadly beats. I just need a bit of help, bro. So that's why I'm glad I've been hanging out with Dibsy heaps.